don't get why people keep bringing up the term trust when it comes to League of Legends, particularly with their teammates. It doesn't make any sense to me because it shouldn't be remotely relevant if you're trying to improve. Now, I can see it if specifically you are boosting or doing something similar, and so you're purely trying to maximize win rate temporarily, then I can see that. However, if you're in your own skill bracket, or even if you're playing on a Smurf account that's yours and you're trying to improve at the game as you go, trust doesn't matter. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of times whenever I coach people, they're like, oh, I would go for this play, but I don't trust my teammate because of X reason. Maybe it's because they looked at op.gg's and loading screen, or even earlier if they went really out of their way and did some third-party shenanigans. And with that information, they then assess what they think their teammate is capable of or not capable of, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because let's just assume that the student is correct, and let's say they somehow have magically assessed exactly what the ally teammate is capable of doing based on a previous action or the op.gg. Even if that's the case, most of the time, if your play is a good play, if it's a very high percentage chance to work, it doesn't matter if they mess it up. Or even if they do mess it up, again, it was a high percentage play. You were playing to what should happen most of the time. If they mess it up, it happens. Fine. Continue to keep making good plays. And overall, you will climb and improve as a player if you keep working on making those good decisions. But if you're constantly trying to psychoanalyze how good your teammates are, it's going to get nowhere. A win con's still a win con. I don't care if the player is dumb. You can still play around them. Unless there can be the caveat of they are clearly intentionally griefing the game. If it's like a very reoccurring pattern where they're just intentionally running down one lane, refusing to move, the perma split until they die kind of thing, or obviously if it's like a Disco Nuno, it's even more obvious. But outside of those cases, all you need is an assumption that they will play at a reasonable level for the given elo that you're playing in. Let's say you're playing in silver, then if you're expecting bronze to silverish level gameplay, then that's fine. Most of the time, that's probably what's going to happen. But obviously, if you're smurfing in silver and you're expecting them to play like an emerald player, well, yeah, you're going to be let down because they're not an emerald player. Does that mean that you shouldn't trust them because they can't carry? No, you can still give them advantages because they're against players of the same skill bracket, so if they have a lead, they're still going to be more useful than if they didn't have a lead. Now, are they going to be absolutely optimal in using that advantage? No, but you still have a good chance of winning, and if you continue to do that as you climb, it's only going to get better and better. Again, the only time that this becomes an issue is if you're entirely focused on the short term of, oh, I lost this individual game because X teammate did this. Whereas if you think about the long term, it doesn't matter about that individual game, what happened in it. As long as you're making the right decisions and understand why it went right or why it went wrong, then that's all you need. And even then, a lot of the times, you're able to adapt by the time that you would actually need to commit to a play. Let's say you want to go for a Drake fight, but you don't trust your teammate. It doesn't really matter. If they start to walk towards Drake, great. If they don't walk towards Drake, then you back off because you think you can't win the fight without them and you do a different play. It's not a matter of trust. You go only as far as you can without fully committing. Once they make their decision, then you make your decision. To wrap this all up, basically what I'm saying is if you're focused on long-term improvement, then trust is completely irrelevant. If you're focused purely on the short term, especially if you're a booster, then of course it's going to matter more to you. However, if you do want help with that long-term focus, then feel free to hit me up in my Discord server. Links in the description, and I can coach you from there.